Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I got some more content that's been requested, one of them being the RPS triple installation and how to have the best experience possible with it. As you can see here, I've got the release bearing already installed on it. This is what's coming out of my clutch. I'll be going to the Tilton 246. I just want to give it a try. This guy, however, since it's already been on the car, I wanted to show you how it goes in. It's actually pretty stinking easy. First things first. A lot of people will install this clutch split. I'll show you what I mean by that. Reason for that is because this being a carbon clutch, if you load these if you load these guys up and they don't clear properly, you could break a disc. You could break one of these carbon pads if it gets wrinkled while you're installing it. It'll crack the carbon and you're toast. You're going to have to send it back and get it reinstalled or get it redone, or outright a new disc altogether. So that's the first thing that is worth noting is a lot of people do not install this clutch onto the flywheel and then stab the transmission in like you normally would. Being that it's a carbon disc setup, I feel that's a wise move. I would say that's a wise move. But as far as setting this clutch up, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mark the discs. So each one of mine, I used the reference of the coloring here, and so there's the coloring on the floaters, and then there's the numbers. The numbers and the description always faces the transmission. What you do is you slip these guys onto the spline and you slide it all the way down on the spline. You're going to want to clean all the grease off, all of it. So I mean, you really got to go through there. This takes a little bit of time to clean it all up. You clean the shaft as well as splines on the actual discs. Then you put lapping compound down. So this is the same stuff as you would use to like grind your valves. Then what you're going to do, I can't do this with, maybe I can while I'm filming, but what you're going to do is you're going to drag the disc back and forth on the spline with the lapping compound. And that's going to clean these splines off so that way your discs can slide nice and smoothly. It's extremely important if you want to have a successful installation. Once you get that disc complete, I'm going to turn this bad boy over. This come out. Go in there. So, like I said, I reference everything to that same spline. Make sure that that spline doesn't move right here. And then I line every one of these up to that. Well, it would be facing this way. So, as I'm lapping each of these discs, the floater comes off. I'll just set that down into here. That's another thing to watch out for when you're installing this onto your flywheel. You want to make sure, let me show you how that kind of goes here. It's going to seat down into the flywheel. You can see how it kind of just like, when it's happy, everything will just go in. So you got to watch out. If you get those pinched, it's not covered under the RPS warranties. You've got to be careful of that. Also, make sure that there's no burrs or anything like that. You're going to want to make sure that everything looks like it's got like a nice smooth surface to slide on. And that goes for when this is placed onto here. You want to make sure it's got a smooth surface to go up and down on. If it doesn't, smooth it off with your Dremel. What I also did was, you could kind of see it here, I rounded the lip just a little bit, so that way it can move freely, just in case. When I first got this clutch, I did have an issue with it getting hung between the two mating surfaces. So what you're going to do, you're going to do each one of these discs. This is a floater, so this doesn't count as a disc. So I'm just setting that down in order. So the next one up would be the middle disc. Again, the label faces away. And then you slide it on all the way. And you're going to slide it back and forth. And I'm not going completely here. I'm not doing this completely because this has already been done on my transmission. So since this clutch has already been lapped and greased and everything, I'm not cleaning the grease off. I'm just showing you what you got to do. You're going to slide it. Don't touch the face of these, especially with greasy hands. You can touch the edges all you want. That's not going to do anything. So I just touch it on the edges here and just go back and forth. And what that does is cleans those grooves off. And then what you're going to have to do when you're done doing this with all of them, you're also going to want to line them all up. So when you're done doing this to every one of them, you're going to want to do this to the final disc as well. Okay. When you install your flywheel, install the flywheel with the orange facing one way. That's really easy for you to see. So in my perspective, in my garage, I would have the orange facing down here to this access cover, or this one. The reason I like doing that is it makes it to where I can see it and get these fingers all lined up. You don't want to pinch these fingers as you're assembling the stack. So I'll explain that a little bit more. Once you're done lapping everything, you're going to want to clean all this back off. Grease the snot out of it, take all the lapping compound out of here. This is a labor-intensive job. It only takes half an hour. You just got to be really careful. You don't want lapping compound when you want grease, okay? So that way these discs can slide properly. So once you've got the spline cleaned off, the disc splines cleaned off, grease them up. Don't go crazy because you don't want grease slinging all over your discs, okay? Once you're done with all that, what you're going to do, I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, so I've removed all of these off of here. I've got all these back onto the flywheel. Imagine the flywheel is installed on the car for a minute, and that all these discs are sitting on a nice clean space. You're going to need to install your throwout bearing hub. Okay, so that's on. You're going to want to grease that point where the rocker is going to rotate on this black hook right here. That's its pivot point. And when you actuate the slave cylinder through this hole right here, everything's going to work the way it's supposed to. So here we go. I'm going to slide this guy on. There's nothing really to it. So the first thing you'll notice is it does have some give here. That's totally normal. Once the pilot bearing goes in and all of this stuff goes onto the transmission, it'll be secured once it's onto the flywheel here. So don't be alarmed by this. Don't be alarmed by the fact that it touches. It won't touch as soon as you get it going and together. So what I do, get this orange over here. Get this fully seated back. At this point, you could insert the fork just to keep everything in place. And then again, After you have oriented all of your discs, this one faces out to that one there, and it should slide nice and smooth on. Then you go again, numbers facing out. This part doesn't matter as long as you line it up properly to this orange area here. And just keep in mind this is going to be trying to fall out. That is okay. So just keep stacking them up. Middle disc, okay, facing out and aligned with that one spline. All the way in. Next floater disc, numbers facing out. Okay, so it just rests in here for right now, and that's perfectly okay. Let's see here, there's the orange. Doesn't matter which way it's facing at this moment, because we're gonna have to stab the pilot bearing into the transmission, or into the back of the block rather. We've got one more disc. We put this guy in here, flywheel disc, this faces again. Same orientation. Okay, as long as it slides on nice and smooth, you're good to go. Now, what's going to happen when you go to put your transmission into the car, none of this stuff is going to be lined up, but it's recessed way past where it's going to be sitting. So this pilot bearing, you can see this protrusion, it's going to be deep down into there. There's going to be space for you to be able to get everything lined up. What you're going to want to do through this window is you're going to want to imagine, just for a second, imagine this is on the back of the car. You're going to want to take these orange floaters and put them into the orange marked sections. You're going to come down underneath, reach through, and you're going to need to put each floater in, and you'll be able to move the transmission in because that part of the stack is lined up. Then push the transmission in manually. You're going to do all this by hand. You get all that stuff done, you'll eventually be able to press your pressure plate into, you'll be able to push this pressure plate up in and put a bolt, turn it around, and just keep turning it. Each time you turn it, it's not rotating right now smoothly because, you know, of course it's not into the pilot bearing. So you're going to put your first bolt in. These are your bolts. And this is going to go into the back of your flywheel. Okay? And then you're going to just finger tighten it for now. And you're going to want to go around and around and around. So you're going to need somebody up top of the car on your crank damper, and they're going to need to turn the motor over, basically a 1/6 turn, right? 6 bolts. So you're going to need them to turn it about, what is that, 30 degrees each time, and eventually you're going to get all 6 bolts finger tightened. Then you're going to be able to put the transmission the rest of the way in a little bit further. Then you're going to tighten the pressure plates bolts down some more. Then you've got that portion of it done. I modified, to get this done a little bit easier, I modified this guy here, shortened it, so that way when I've got my electric tool, I can both fit it and the bolt and everything in here, and I can tighten it down with my electric drill. I've got one of those 90-degree drills, and yeah, makes life so much easier. I just go until I hear the first bit of resistance, and then I let off. That's it. It's that easy. Then when you put your all your bell housing bolts and everything on, it'll just, the transmission, once you've got the pressure plate fully installed, you're safe to tighten everything down as long as you don't have any of these fingers protruding. You're going to want all the fingers. You're going to want to check it, like do a full rotation like 3-4 times. Make sure you don't have any fingers protruding. You're going to want them all lined up, and they'll all fit beautifully right into these grooves. Okay, and you're going to want to check each one of those grooves. It takes a little bit of time, but let me tell you, it's worth it when you do it right. Once you've got the transmission installed, you've got the fork installed. You might have to wait to the very end to put the fork in. I can't remember. But it goes into the hook and it just kind of snaps into place. The dimple will face the slave cylinder, which will be poking it and actuating the lever to pull the plates apart. One other thing you're going to want to make sure and do as you're tightening these bolts down and you're rotating it around and you're tightening your bolts, you can go through this side as well, so you can get 2 at a time, but basically what you'll get is you'll get this one and this one each time. So just rotate it a little bit and you'll be able to get this one and that one next. But keep in mind, do not tighten it down past seeing the bolt head. Like if you see it start to compress some, you need to go over here, over here. It's like if you're tightening your wheel down. You need to make sure that you're doing across the board each time and across the board each time. So in my opinion, the best way to tighten this down would be like here, 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 and then here. I think that probably makes sense, but each time you turn this puppy around, you're going to be exposing inspection of each one of these fingers to make sure that they're in there and they're happy. Hope that helps. If you guys have any questions with this, you know what to do. It's probably easiest to get a hold of me on Instagram. If you're a Supra owner, you can reach out to me through the original Mark IV Supra Owners group. Hope y'all have a great day. I sure hope this helped you out. I look forward to seeing you around, and watch the next video. I'll be doing a how to install the Tilton Grannis ST246 clutch with the Tilton throwout.